Well, welcome everyone to the Agricultural Technology Platform's online software to manage risks workshop series. We're really glad that you're joining us this evening. And I'm going to advance my slide. My name is Jennifer Hashley. I'm the director of the New Entry Sustainable Farming Project. And as we get started this evening, I encourage everyone, if you don't mind, if you'd like to rename yourself, you can do so in the upper right near your participant name. There's some little dots there. You can rename yourself and you can add your pronouns if you feel comfortable doing that. And you can also add that to the chat, your name, pronouns, your farm name, where you're coming from tonight, so we can get to know where everybody is tuning in from this evening. We just ask folks if you can keep yourself muted until the Q&A session, or if we invite you to unmute and ask a question so we can eliminate the background noise. And we really encourage everybody to use the chat feature to ask questions throughout the session tonight. And the session is being recorded so that we can share this with you afterward. So just a little bit about the New Entry Sustainable Farming Project. Our mission is to improve our local and regional food systems by training the next generation of farmers, and we help to make that food accessible to everyone. We're located in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is in the northeastern corner, north of Boston, on the ancestral, traditional, contemporary, and unceded lands of the Pawtucket and Massachusetts people. If you're curious about the land that you're farming, you can go to the native.ca website and look up the property that you may be inhabiting and who was there before you. So the three program areas that New Entry offers are farmer training, food hub, and our national program initiatives. And I'm just going to go through those very briefly. So our farmer training programs involve our courses and workshops, and we run an incubator farm where we make land accessible to folks to get started and grow. I would encourage folks to check out our other workshops that we do. Our next course in the series is our crop production course that will begin in May. And that is a real hands-on experiential course that has some online and in-person training here at our incubator farm site in Beverly. And then following that is our business planning course, which the next session will begin in the fall. We're just finishing up the last few weeks of the winter session right now. So the next chance to enroll in that will be in October of this year. And that is a kind of startup business planning course to help you get your initial business plan in order. And that is also the criteria to be eligible for the incubator farm. So you can also take a virtual tour of New Entry. We have a video on our YouTube channel. This is also our YouTube channel is where we will host the recordings from tonight's session. And as I mentioned, we run a food hub where we have an aggregated CSA program. We do some food access work, and we also have some trainings around food safety, post-harvest handling, wholesale readiness, and all of that we offer. So if you're interested in that. And then we run a national network called the Field Network, which is a professional development network for other incubator farm and apprenticeship training programs. So we do an annual conference, and if you're interested in apprenticeship and mentoring or incubator stuff, we have a lot of great resources on our resource libraries for those programs. So tonight's workshop is part of a broader workshop series that we're doing on risk management. We started out in the fall with some legal risk management workshops really around farmland access and leasing and financial readiness. And we had Mike on earlier this fall talking about the mortgage builder tool and things like that. So if you are interested in those topics, please check out those workshop recordings. Then we moved into the financial risk management series. We had other software platforms like FarmOS and FarmBright. We talked about QuickBooks. And then we had a panel of folks using different point of sale data and how they took that point of sale information and used that to make financial decisions. So if you're interested in those, please check those out. And then last month we focused on production risks. So we had other folks in here talking about record keeping and their software to look at enterprise budgets, how they keep records for soil health and organic certification. And now in the month of February, we're really focusing on marketing risk. So we're talking about all the different e-commerce sales platforms that might be right for you. We kicked it off last week with a food hub panel, and they all do very different things, which was really interesting. And now we're digging into some of the other specific e-commerce sites, and we're really excited to have our presenters here tonight to share that with you. All the materials and recordings that we are doing throughout this series are on this web page here, which I will send out afterward. I'm taking notes during the presentations, and some of the resources that the speakers mentioned will also be posted here as fact sheets when we complete the series. So check back here if you'd like to come back to this later on. And I'd just like to thank our funder. These are free workshops that we're offering thanks to the USDA Northeast Extension Risk Management Education Program through the National Institutes of Food and Agriculture. So they supported this work. And of course, there's no such thing as a free lunch. When the government gives you money, they expect that you're going to evaluate and demonstrate that there was an outcome involved with the project. So I'm going to launch a short 2-question poll before we start the presentation tonight, and then at the end, it'll take 2 seconds here. And then at the end, I'll follow up with a recording link in these resources, and I will send out a workshop evaluation. I'd really appreciate it if everybody could take the time to fill out the workshop evaluation. It's 10 short questions, super easy, should take you 5 minutes to fill out. So please do that when I send that along. I'd really appreciate it. So I'm going to launch the first question. First 2 questions in the pre-assessment, and it's pretty straightforward. How would you rate your knowledge of marketing risk? And whatever marketing risk means to you, if you can let us know on a scale of 1 to 5, do you feel like you have limited understanding or no understanding or complete understanding? And then the second question is, how would you rate your understanding of available e-commerce platforms to manage marketing risks or to improve your marketing overall? So just those 2 questions, I'll give you a few minutes to answer those. And then I will introduce our speakers while you're looking at that. So I'm really excited tonight to introduce our speakers and our panel for this session. Mike Parker is going to kick us off and talk about Farm Generations Co-op, who launched GrownBy, which is a great platform that's just getting started. So he's going to tell us a little bit about that. He's also a first-generation farmer doing grass-fed beef enterprise in New York. He's also here locally coordinating the farm viability program for our Department of Ag Resources, and used to be with the National Young Farmer Coalition doing a lot of great work there too. So he's been around the block in this farm service provider space doing all kinds of neat things. And then after Mike, we're going to hear from Pami Monnette. She is the Outreach and Customer Service representative from Food4All. She's also a farmer running a flower farm in Oregon and has lots of experience also being an ag service provider working for Extension for many years. So we're grateful to have her here from across the country. And then we're also joined by Andrea, who's the farmer at Quarter Acre Farm, which is a certified organic vegetable farm on the eastern shore of Maryland, growing a very diverse wide range of crops and seedlings at local markets. And she also came up here to college in New Hampshire, I think, right? Or so no stranger to the Northeast as well. So really excited to have them share their knowledge with us. And again, I really encourage everybody to put your questions in the chat as we go so that you can we can get your question answered and you can get what you came to learn tonight. So thank you, Michael, for kicking us off.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. Mike Parker. I'm sorry for the weird darkness here. I am in a McDonald's parking lot down the road from my house because my bad rural internet is causing havoc today. So rather than dropping during a presentation, I'll just sit in the dark for a presentation. If my light goes off, I'll turn it off and on. Anyway, I'll mostly be sharing my screen anyway. But again, I work in Central New York, raising grass-fed beef on a small farm operation that I just got started up between 2020 and 2021. And I, at the same time, been working for the last bunch of years for various farm technical assistance organizations. And when I was at the National Young Farmers Coalition, I wrote a guidebook about e-commerce platforms for farmers right at the start of the pandemic, when it was a lot of people were scrambling to find options that worked for them and finally starting to put products online because they had to. So it's been a really wild ride over the last 2 years, just seeing how all this has changed and matured and how farmers been, trying out different platforms, hating them, loving them, and changing their business models. So it's really, I think, exciting time to start a business in this field and to think through the available options for e-commerce marketing. So I'm here tonight, though, to talk about just one of those options. I'm going to share my screen because I have a little presentation deck that we could look at rather than me in the darkness. I think everybody's probably seeing that. So this is just a little deck about GrownBy. So I am one of the co-founders and a member owner of the Farm Generations Cooperative, and Farm Generations is the co-op that's behind GrownBy. So GrownBy is meant to be a single app that consumers can use to buy directly from any farmer. We mean any participating farmer, any farmer with a GrownBy shop in the US. So it is meant to be a platform, kind of like Etsy or Airbnb, a lot of these like real tech platforms that are meant for both consumers and producers to use, and make direct sales between each other, like the producer selling directly to the consumer, but a lot of the producers are on the same platform and it will be searched on a map. So we'll get into that so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Just a little primer, we're a co-op, so we are a farmer-owned company. Anybody who sells any product on GrownBy is invited to join our co-op. Farmers that maybe are parts of other co-ops might, our co-op is structured a little bit differently. I mean, we are like a pure co-op incorporated in the state of Minnesota, agricultural co-op, but the big difference between us and a lot of other ag co-ops is the way that we're capitalized. So a lot of times if you're starting a co-op, you'll go around and do fundraising from the members or the future members. Like if you're starting a grocery co-op, you'd get donations from the community, people that want to be part of that grocery co-op. We knew that starting a tech company and asking direct marketing small farms for the money to start that tech company was not going to work out, and we didn't want to expose farmers to that kind of risk. So over the last 4 years or so, we've raised a lot of capital from USDA grants, from private foundations, and now from mission-aligned investors to get a really modern, like great tech product out there. And now we're inviting farmers to join as owners of that platform without having to have put in money in that really risky period when we were building something new. That's where we are. You're welcome to join if you start selling on GrownBy. Okay, a quick timeline of our history. So back in 2017, this started as a project of the National Young Farmers Coalition, just recognizing that a lot of farmers around the country were having the same issues of the e-commerce technology available to them wasn't really appropriate. They're starting to need to compete against, any kind of, against Amazon, against, Blue Apron, against all sorts of things that were trying to sell supposedly local food to the consumers that were also buying their CSA shares and all of that. Through grant funding, we built a prototype in 2019. We beta tested that. Our beta testing, that platform was kind of crappy, and we learned a lot from it, but we basically rebuilt the entire product during the pandemic, during that first year of 2020, hired a great CTO, great engineering team, and relaunched GrownBy in early 2021, in March 2021, as an app. So a mobile first kind of app. You could also use it on a website. And this is sort of what it looks like, but we'll jump into the app on the screen share after I get through some information about it. So just to run through the features of GrownBy, the kind of things that the app can do. So we'll first start with features that are meant for farmers. So if you start a GrownBy shop, you have a shop. You basically have a profile page that you can put some information about your farm. If you're not too into wanting to have like your own website and keeping track of your domain and all that kind of stuff, you could use GrownBy as your website to have all your contact information there, your links to your social media. There's a example right there, Footprint Farms, what it looks like on a phone. You can, and then in your shop, you can create products by category. You could have all of your certification labels, or organic, or certified naturally grown, whatever it is, and customers can actually search by those kinds of labels and tags that you put on your farm. You can sell either CSA subscriptions. So really we're a CSA first kind of platform. We were trying to build something that was very flexible for the different kinds of CSA models out there, and even the kinds of like subscription type sales models that maybe don't call themselves CSAs. So there's a lot of flexibility, and our team can help you like kind of understand how you can put your model into GrownBy. that was one thing that we were trying to solve for when building this product from the start, was that we got a lot of feedback from farmers that, you know, they couldn't sell online because they had a sales model. They've been running CSA for 10, 20 years, and they weren't going to choose a product that made them have to change their business model. So we're trying to create a product that adapts to lots of different business models. It's crazy thing with CSA is that every CSA is a unique sales model for some reason, but such it is. So with your CSA, you could have as many locations, as many different share types as you want. You could have primary shares or add-on shares, the kinds of shares that you can only add on if you've purchased a primary share. You could sell things to your CSA customers week to week. If you have multiple locations and distribution spots, you can allow your customers to change those locations week to week where they get their pickup, or you can not allow them to do that. You can set rules around vacation weeks that they could get refunded for, vacation weeks that they can get credit to your farm for future purchases. So just lots of flexibility built in. You can also sell, besides CSAs, just straight up custom orders. So these are orders meant for local distribution, really, where we're not quite set up yet for delivery models, or like my farm, I sell through the mail. Like I sell meat through UPS, and I do use GrownBy, but it's not exactly suited to my model just yet. That'll probably change in a few months, but really these custom orders are meant for, say, pre-selling at a farmer's market, to put your inventory online, sending out a newsletter and say, you know, pick up an order, place your order now and we'll have it ready at the market. Or if you have some kind of buying club or just distribution sites that you sell custom orders for, that's the model besides CSA that GrownBy really covers right now. And all those are coming from the same inventory. So you could run you run reports every week, and or before your distributions, and you know what you have to harvest, what you have to pack in different boxes for different locations and all that. Farm credit is a nice part of our platform. So again, this GrownBy is a platform where you could be buying as a consumer from multiple farms, but as an individual farm, you could be giving your customers credit just to be used like a gift card at your own farm. There's a lot of different uses we have for that. Like I mentioned, the vacation weeks for a CSA, instead of giving somebody a refund or telling them that they can't, you already bought your CSA share, too bad, you go on vacation. You can give people farm credit for future purchases. So also people use farm credit as its own kind of CSA, like customers buy farm credit from them and then just order products using that credit week to week. There's a whole reporting system. And the idea, so this is now shifting over to features for consumers. So the big thing with consumers is that they want convenience. Like buying directly from farms in general is just an annoying thing. Like if you want to buy all of your food, all of your groceries from farms, you're often making different stops. It's also often different days, different payment types. And it's a lot to keep track of, especially for people who are, also have jobs and families and all that. The point of GrownBy is to make a lot of this easier and for farmers to get together to do consumer marketing as a co-op on behalf of their farms, because really none of us has the scale of business that we can be investing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars into consumer marketing. But the companies we're competing with, Amazon, Walmart, they do that. So this is our attempt to try to get to that kind of scale. Maybe not Amazon scale, but the scale that we could at least advertise on behalf of all the farmers on GrownBy. So that's why it's really important for us that our app is one app for any farm. You can get on GrownBy as a consumer, search around you for any farmer using GrownBy. You could have a single payment method that you use for all those different farms. All your orders come to your app. And research has definitely shown that people buy more when they're using apps for purchases. So as a consumer, you can go onto a map. You could use our search bar to search for particular products, for particular tags. If you're looking for like a BIPOC farmer and you've tagged yourself as a BIPOC farm, like you could use the tags for all sorts of things like that. Or you could just search by location for the farms around you. You can set up all different payment methods. So it's mostly credit cards, but farmers can enable offline payments where if you want to accept cash or check, you can do that, and you just give your customers instructions on how to pay you that way. We partner with Stripe as their payment processor, so even if you did an offline payment, Stripe would capture that as an invoice, so it keeps track of all that for you, or you're able to keep track of it, who owes you money, all that. We also have gotten into, so we were awarded, turn back on my light. We were awarded a grant from USDA this year. It's a 4-year project to implement online processing of SNAP and EBT transactions. So right now, if you're a direct marketing farmer or a business at this scale, you can't accept SNAP and EBT online as an e-commerce transaction. There's a lot of big retailers that can, like the Amazons and Walmarts can, but really besides that, there's some grocery chains that are few and far between that can accept SNAP payments as e-commerce payments. So over the next year, we'll be working on building out that technology along with a couple other e-commerce platforms that are in this collaborative application together. We're hoping by next year, one of the payment methods on this that you can save is SNAP, and any of your consumers that are using EBT and SNAP as a payment method can actually use GrownBy to pay that way. Yep, as a consumer, you could set up, once you have all your orders, you'll have like a whole ordering, like a system of being able to see when your orders are coming. It sends notifications, push notifications to say like, hey, your CSA pickups today. So all those kinds of reminders are really helpful. And I mentioned vacation week, so it's flexible if you as a farmer want to allow your customers to switch locations or take off a week. You could set all rules around that. You could update your own email address and delivery address and phone number and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so just a couple of quick stats. These are a bit out of date. We have around 3,000 consumers that are using GrownBy right now, and a little over 200 farms are registered. Not all of those are selling. Probably about 100 of them are actually selling something. About 200 have like claimed their farm. And we're all around the country. So GrownBy is the kind of thing that you could just, I think this next one is about fees. So there's no like starting fee, there's no gatekeeper or whatever. You could just go to the App Store right now, download GrownBy, say you want to claim your farm. Your farm might already be in our database. If it's not, you could just put the farm in our database and get your farm started. You connect to Stripe, and you can set up your shop. All of our payments are, the only thing that we charge on is sales. So there's a 2.9% fee that's a credit card fee that Stripe charges, and then you pay a 2% fee on top of that to our co-op. And then the customer pays a 30% transaction fee on every transaction. This is all just for credit cards. If you're using GrownBy for offline sales, for cash or check, it's actually just free. So that's a good way of getting started online if it's not something you want to be like all the way, jumping into just credit card sales and all that. Yep, we've got all kinds of plans for the future. So this is just a little, like, we're always applying for different USDA grants or trying to partner with other organizations on, how can we add more sales channels to GrownBy, because we recognize that people want to be able to use the same inventory to sell at markets. So they need a point of sale or at your self-serve farm store, or a lot of people are doing home delivery and like multi-farm sales right now. So all these things we want to add to GrownBy, we kind of just started where our target market was, which was really CSAs. Okay, so you download the app anytime, connect to Stripe, add your farm, and get going if you want to. Okay, and that's it there. It's my time check. Shout if we don't have time to get into this, Jennifer, but I was going to just screen share the.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think we have some time, and there was a question about how you join the co-op.
So the co-op is, once you make a sale on GrownBy, you probably get an email from me that says, we'd love to invite you to join our co-op. It's a $250 capital contribution. So it's just a one-time to buy your share in the co-op. And you sign a membership agreement, and it's as simple as that. And we could get, it's a little maybe too much details again to what it is to be a co-op member, but essentially you can serve on the board of directors, you can vote for the board of directors. If the board like decides that there's a major decision that they want the membership to vote on, you would be participating in those votes. And a big thing is that you earn patronage. So if our co-op is, right now we're in a startup mode, we're not making profits. But if we are a profitable co-op in the future, you would be earning patronage by selling on GrownBy, and you would get patronage dividends from that. So farmers are, the only owners of the co-op, and if this were a profitable technology company, those returns would be going back to the farmers that own GrownBy. I'm going to share my screen again, so I can show you guys a little bit of. Okay. Feel free to shout out any other questions, either like anybody who's watching, or put them in the chat and Jennifer can interrupt me. This is what the GrownBy homepage looks like if you're looking at it on a laptop. Things do look good on the laptop, but really we're meant to be a mobile site, so it looks better on the app in general. But right now, this is just kind of a landing page. You get a little stories of the farms. Right now, the only favorite farm is my own farm. And we'll be adding stories and stuff like content to this as we go. So this is what the homepage looks like. You could then explore in a map, where I have a few farm accounts already pulled up. So this is my farm's GrownBy page, Sleeping Lion Farm. So you see you have like a landing page that has your email, phone, all the contact stuff. You can review farms. I've got a couple of reviews from various folks. You go into the shop, and mine's pretty simple. So I just have one CSA. So this beef subscription is a CSA type product. And then I sell meat by the box. And it's pretty straightforward. So if you had multiple shares in your CSA, all your primary shares would show up here, but I have just the single primary share of, like, you get a box of beef every month. But if you had a more complicated CSA with add-on shares and all those, and different kinds of primary shares or different locations, or A and B weeks, all that would show up here with a different pricing, and you would just add it to your cart that way. Just to see the way a different shop is set up, and then we can jump into the back end. So this is Footprint Farm in Vermont, and theirs looks a little better during the growing season because they have so yeah, during the off season here, they're selling CSA shares. They have a product that's like a donation to their farm that they use to subsidize CSA shares for lower income members. And then they have this interesting, so they use GrownBy as mostly for custom orders, weekly custom orders. So you can buy a membership to their farm. And if you're a member, it's like a buying club where every week you'll get an email to say our GrownBy shop is updated. Come and place your order. And then they have multiple pickup sites. So you can place an order for, one of 4 pickup sites, and whatever you want to put in there, they just do that once a week, and they pack their custom boxes and deliver it. So they use GrownBy that way, but they also have a CSA at the same time. So some of those members are CSA members that are just adding on like a gallon of milk or something to their order. Some people are just picking up their CSA share, or some people are just in the buying club and making custom orders. So it makes it a really interesting experience, and makes their farm hit a lot of different types of customers, and customers that want different things, because not everybody wants like a CSA share every week, but makes it efficient on their end to just be selling it all through the same platform, from the same inventory, same distribution reports, all of that. Save communication. And then I don't know what else I pulled here. I might have pulled Hardy Roots. Yeah, so Hardy Roots is in the Hudson Valley. Lindsay Lusher Shute, who was the original founder of the National Young Farmers Coalition and is the CEO of Farm Generations. This is her family's farm. So without Hardy Roots, there would be no GrownBy, because they've basically been our power user and tester for the last 3 years. and I've been through every challenge of engineering with our team. So you see are broken up into multiple CSAs. They're in New York, and they have a Brooklyn CSA. They have a Hudson Valley CSA that has different pricing. So they split it up into different CSAs and different product availability. So yeah, it's helpful to have different, like basically we're structured as you could have multiple CSAs and then multiple shares within those CSAs that could be shared across different CSAs, and then standard products that can be purchased by CSA members. And what else I got here? And this is basically just what so if you weren't, if you're a farmer, you can just send your customers your link to your shop, and they don't have to see the rest of GrownBy. But once people have a GrownBy account, they can just search the map. So here in Massachusetts, there's just a few farms that are on GrownBy, but like Heartbeats Farm in Southeast Mass here. I think they're selling a few things in the winter. Yeah, so they have a little inventory of, looks like they have a on-farm stand that they do weekly pickups from. So they have all these. So they just have some winter vegetables, some kohlrabi and greens, it looks like. Storage crops. So this once a week, they're probably sending out, a reminder to their customers, place an order before the deadline, and then packing custom orders every week.
Mike, can you clarify, there's a question in the chat, if GrownBy offers delivery service or if you anticipate it in the future? I feel like you're really just the intermediary, right?
We're really just a platform, kind of in the same way that, like, I don't know, like Airbnb doesn't, well, Airbnb might these days, but like, it's intended that customers and producers are like kind of doing the transaction, communicating through the platform, but then all the distribution is off platform and kind of on the farmer. We are adding some things this spring that, for instance, like my model is, I have people place orders, and then it's not for local pickup. Like I've been sending beef to North Carolina or Texas or just, to other places in New York. But right now I can't like set, I don't know, different shipping fees for those, for instance, or like prevent people from outside of my delivery area from placing orders. And those are the kinds of things that we'll implement to facilitate those kinds of models. It's like if you want to add a delivery fee to an order that is meant to be delivered to a customer's home, that's the kind of thing that we want to build so that you can support those models. But we're not getting into like buying product, aggregating product, anything like that. These are really the farmers making the transactions, and the payments go directly to the farm. They never go through GrownBy or anything. Like we use Stripe, and you have a Stripe account, and the customer is paying your Stripe account directly. Just to show you the back end real quick. I don't know, again, please stop me whenever I'm out of time here. I don't want to steal from everybody else, but there's essentially a dashboard where you set up your farm, set up all your photos, your distribution times, your open times, your locations, and then you set up all your products. So you could set up CSA shares. Here, look at something. So right now all of my products are, so I've got the CSA share, I've got these different boxes. Everybody's face is in the way here. So if you go in, and this one doesn't have any customers because it's not for sale yet, or it's just was put up yesterday. But yeah, you basically have your description. You tell them whether it's a primary or an add-on share, your pricing. You could set it up for weekly billing or monthly billing and change the price based on, if you want to give people a discount for an upfront payment rather than a monthly or weekly payment, you can do that. You set your schedule for when this is being shipped. You set where, like, where the pickups are. So this one I just do ship to the home, no farm pickup. Add your photos. Okay, that's everything there. We have different views back here. So if you are that kind of model where you're updating your inventory every week, you can go into here and make quick edits. So if you had a big long list here of 30 crops that you're growing, and you harvested and now you want to add those numbers, you could very quickly make quick changes like that rather than going into each product. And there's a few other things that you can make quick changes with here. Yeah, you go into your customers and you can make all kinds of changes to your, you could add farm credit, you could do refunds here. You could see if they owe you anything and run different reports on that. Your distributions, these are all our different reports. Lights turned off again.
Speaking of reporting, one of the questions is, once the order is closed, does the platform produce a pick list and a tool to print labels for the CSA boxes at all?
So we do have these things, packing sheets. I don't think I have any orders this week that'll have a packing sheet, but basically, yeah, we have a report that it basically looks like this. It tells you it's like a receipt that you cut out and put into the boxes. So this like prints out as a PDF. And if you had a customer that, my products are like 1 unit, but if you had somebody with a custom order with 10 products, it would just show every product that they bought, like a receipt. We also have sign-in sheets, so that'll show you, a list of every customer for a particular distribution location that's supposed to pick up and what's in their order. So if you had an employee that's standing there with a sign-in sheet, they have all the information they need. The location summary is really for if you're, packing different vans or different coolers for different drop-off locations or different farmers markets. This will give you a report for each location, what's in there for a distribution day or a distribution period. And daily summary is really like a harvest report of telling you for all your different distribution sites, like what are you, what product do you need to get to all those distribution sites within this time period. We definitely have some work to do, and we're working on it this spring of doing some sales analysis kind of reports. It's kind of telling where we are at with the platform, because we've been through a couple seasons where we're really focused on like what do we need to do to get product out the door, and less like, well, what kind of sales analysis do we need to do. But now that we're have a bunch of farmers that have spent one full season on GrownBy, they're doing things like, I don't know, taxes and grant reporting and all kinds of stuff like that. And they're like, why can't this tell me this sales number yet, or sales by this product category yet? And so all those things are things we're working on right now. Yeah, I mean, that's the back end. You can start a GrownBy account anytime for free if you want to see this all for yourself. And again, we have I'm going to stop sharing here. We do have a small team called our community team of people who are either currently farming like me, or who have past careers as farmers or as technical assistance providers that can work with you one-on-one to set up your shop and answer any questions you have. So all that is out there for free if you want to get help getting started.
Great. And there was another question in the chat. Does the app interface with accounting software like QuickBooks?
Not yet, but in about a month and a half it will. So we are currently building our QuickBooks integration. And then some of those sales reports that I was talking about are meant for if you're doing if you want to see your sales by producer, like when you're setting up a product, you can, if you're selling somebody else's product, like, the local apple orchard's apples as like an add-on share, you can create reports by producer, so you know who you have to pay out, and all those kinds of things. So all those things are being built right now, but expected to be out by March, April.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Are there any other questions for Michael?
I'll be sticking around in the dark here, so I think there's a Q&A period later. And if you think of anything, feel free to ask or shoot me a message through the chat. But thanks for your time, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for all your good work building this great platform and making it a cooperative, which is a unique model. So yeah. Great, thank you. All right, so next we'll turn it over to Pami and Andrea to share their information about Food4All. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. My name's Pami Monnette. I work for Food4All, and I started in March of this year after coming out of government work for 10 years. So it's a welcoming change. And so I worked with small farmers for 10 years, kind of understanding what their needs are, and joined Food4All because I feel like, you know, as Michael was kind of talking about, models are changing, marketing's changing, and I just feel like we need to give farmers all of the tools and necessary options to sell to multiple audiences and reach new people. And the convenience factor is just such a important factor that, you know, if small farms can't really get on this bandwagon and get their product in front of folks, you know, I feel like a lot of the small farmers are going to be left behind, and or just struggling to create a viable business model. And so, you know, Food4All is really focused, really farmer focused. I'm a small farmer myself, so, you know, we are always trying to make sure that it's meets the needs of small farmers, but doesn't break the bank to use. And so I think Cami is actually here. She's the founder of Food4All, Cami Semick, but she started in 2015. And, you know, really, like I said, our mission is increasing sales overall for small farmers by making it easier for customers to find products online. You know, I myself used to be a regular customer at our local farmers market, and then I had kids, and it's just not in the cards for me to attend. And so for me to be able to go online, fill my shopping cart each week from local farms, and then pick up, you know, at a, you know, predetermined spot is super easy and nice for me as a customer. And so we really try to curate that kind of shopping experience and make it really efficient for farmers to create an online store. And so, you know, like Michael with GrownBy, we are e-commerce solution, and we'll provide, you know, that infrastructure for small farmers to upload products and price products. And we provide an online store, which is just a link that you get when you create your account. And we are a web-based app, so we don't have a downloadable app, but it's all web-based and mobile friendly. And one thing that's super, you know, important for farmers, like I know this session is called risk management, but I feel like a lot of it's just like stress management of all of these orders that come in from different places. And I know farmers taking orders from Facebook messages and from texts and from this and that. And so to have one place that you can send your customers to, you know, as an online store with Food4All, it's really, we're really trying to take that load off of farmers in terms of inventory management, order management, and like GrownBy, it's all in one place. So you can, small farmers can sell retail through Food4All, or they can also create a wholesale store and sell wholesale. So that kind of acts like a private shopping page more so, where you would just send out to wholesale buyers. And so you can have different prices for retail and wholesale products, but it all comes out of the same bucket. So, and I'll probably go into the back end a little bit just to show you guys what what you can expect when you create an account. But something that's really important for us is, you know, we're trying to act just like another tool that a farmer would use. And so it's really important for us to maintain, as a small farmer, to maintain your own branding. You know, we're trying to enable small farmers to tell their own story and to keep that intact as customers are purchasing from them. And so, you know, in terms of the marketing piece, like Michael was saying, we are customer facing as well. Customers can find small farmers from a zip code search, very similar to GrownBy. But we're really trying to encourage farmers to get their story out there, to get their own shopping page out there, to interact with partners. We partner with Market Maker, which is a national marketing tool, and to interact with their local food organizations and their farmers market associations, and to push that shopping page link out to as many potential customers as possible. You kind of need a whole community behind you to do that. So when farmers sign up with us, I do like a one-on-one with them, just to kind of understand where they're at, what their goals are, and set them up with their online store in a way that makes sense for where they're at in their business and kind of where they're at in their marketing. Because a lot of folks are coming to us that are kind of just starting a business. And so we might need a little bit more, marketing kind of training with that. And we do offer I don't have it in this slide, but we do offer a marketplace solution as well, which would be more or less an online farmers market. So we have the ability for farmers markets to also come into Food4All, create a marketplace account, and then invite multiple sellers to sell from an online marketplace. And so that has been a really fun thing to see, new farmers markets pop up. And just again, for folks that can't get down to the physical market, for them to have a pre-sale and pick up option. And one thing that's fairly unique to Food4All is our pricing model. And we're, like I said, we're really farmer focused, and we kind of understand and believe that, farmers, a lot of times they're dipping their toe in this e-commerce thing. And it's uncomfortable, and they're not sure if they can trust it. And it's just kind of a foreign concept. But so we try to kind of make it as low, a low barrier to entry as possible. And you can sign up, create a Food4All account for free. We don't charge sellers a subscription fee or a transaction fee. We are subject to the credit card processing fees. We also use Stripe to process our transactions. And so there's no way to get away from the credit card processing fees, but we don't charge another transaction fee to the sellers to use our platform. Buyers, so the customers actually fund the majority of our operation, and buyers will pay a small transaction fee on each transaction. So that amounts to 2.5% plus 95 cents that we tack on to the when the customer is checking out. And Andrea can talk about this a little bit. We haven't heard thus far that has been an issue for buyers. And we kind of try to explain, hey, this fee is really helping your local farmer use this tool for a very small cost. And so, we're always kind of playing around with that, but that's where we are right now. And we can opt you into a subscription fee if you would rather not put that not put that fee on your customers. But so again, really trying to work with small farmers and farmers in general, and just try and take some of that load off. We're always around to help if you need, phone or email support, and we do offer weekly demos. And I can kind of put some of this in the chat when Andrea is talking about how she uses our system. We do a demo every Thursday at noon Pacific time, just give you guys a walk around the system. But if anybody creates an account, we're able to just get you on the phone or on Zoom. And like I said, just kind of walk you through the initial sign up to make sure you have no questions. Let's see what I got on my next slide here. So very similar to GrownBy in terms of when you set up your account, you can set up multiple locations, so multiple pickup locations. You can also set up a delivery option if that is something that you want to be able to offer. You can offer delivery yourself and charge a fee for it if you need, and that's automatically tagged on to a transaction. If a customer says, I would like, home delivery, they can add a flat fee of $5, $10, whatever they need to cover their costs. And they can also integrate a third-party delivery system and give them like a delivery report every week if that's something that a farmer, wants to do. And then they would just set up their kind of order window time, and then their different pickup options, and consumers have the ability to check those different options when they check out. There's always the default option to pay by credit card, and so that's always displayed as an option for customers, but you can also opt in to accepting checks or cash, or if you're registered as an EBT, if you're registered to process SNAP transactions with the government, you can also do that upon product pickup. And so there's multiple ways that folks can pay, and we'll be adding some discount, the ability for discount codes and credits and stuff this spring, so that folks can give their customers credits or discount codes and stuff like that. We do also have a point of sale system that's integrated into your Food4All account. And so Andrea uses that at the farmers market. And we don't have the readers right now, but if, for example, you needed to just input an order and you don't have another way to take a credit card, you can do that on your phone through your Food4All account. And then that order would, show up in your order list. And it's all deducting again from that same bucket of inventory. Like I said, you can participate in local marketplaces if there is one in your area. We're starting to really encourage those more and kind of focus on those a little bit more, because it really gets, a group of farmers in front of people, just like a regular farmer's market does, but you can really push it out to a lot more customers. And again, convenience is king. We're trying to compete with the Amazons and, the Safeway pickup. And so local marketplaces, I think, are really going to be something exciting to see come on board, because the collective marketing that a marketplace has is quite a bit greater than just a single farm. And so we're definitely open to working with farmers markets or food hubs to kind of help get those efforts off the ground. And then, so you're managing inventory across all these different, market avenues in one place. And I can kind of show you what that looks like if we have time here. I might be on, okay, so I do have just a sample of what a customer would see if they came to your shopping page. I can go into this on the web, but I hope you get the idea of what your shopping page would look like. So this is just an example farm that we have set up. And so you'd have your banner, it's all branded with your information. You would set the pickup cutoff, the order cutoff time. And so that would be displayed. Folks are able to search for products, or, they can kind of just scroll through a list and select each product, put it into their cart, and then they'll be able to check out. So pretty straightforward on the customer side of things. And they do create an account and, just stay logged in to shop. We will be enabling customer notifications to get your order in for the week and stuff like that soon. Because I know that helps me. It's like, okay, yeah, I need to get my order in by midnight so I can pick it up on Friday. And I think Andrea is going to be chatting a little bit about how her farm uses this. And maybe after she's done, I can go into the back end if we have time and answer any questions that you guys might have about how Food4All works.
Great. So I'm Andrea and I have a 1/4 acre farm. I'm growing certified organic vegetables and I grow a lot of seedlings, particularly in the spring. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I found Food4All and kind of decided to do it with them. Is that when the pandemic happened, was in the spring of 2020 was really when I made the choice that I was going to have a online sales platform that I was going to use. But prior to that, I had been looking into it because I saw a lot of seedlings in the spring and I would send out emails prior to COVID that would just say like, hey, this week, these are the seedlings I'm going to have. And I would, see me at the farmer's market and, pay cash and pick them up. And I would have a lot of customers that would email me back like, oh, save me this, that, and the other thing. And I would, and I remember thinking like, geez, it would be really good if I already had the money, because what if they forget, which sometimes they would, and they don't pick it up. And with my seedlings, I do a lot of varieties, so it's like tomatoes, there's 20 different varieties. I might only have, 6 of this variety, 30 of that variety, 5, all these different amounts. And I hate the idea of selling something that I don't have or that somebody else got. So when the pandemic happened, it was like, okay, my farmer's market might not be open. Who knows what's going to happen? And so the priority for me with a platform was one that I could have a lot of different items with a lot of different descriptions. So in the spring, if you go, like not right now, but like in like 2-3 months, if you go to my Food4All page, it's going to be just, 90 different things on there, mainly seedlings. And I want it to also be able to take orders and then also be at the farmer's market with the POS system that's deducting from the same time, because I didn't want to be selling those black cherry tomatoes and then have someone at the same time ordering them, but I actually end up selling out of them at the farmer's market and I don't have enough for them for the pickup tomorrow that they placed the order for. So that to me was a big seller for Food4All. And the other thing I liked was that there was no upfront cost for me, because I didn't know if like any of my customers were even going to use it, because before the pandemic, I never even accepted credit cards. So I really liked that there was no basically cost until something got sold. And then the piece that Pami kind of mentioned about that there is a fee to the buyer, which I believe is listed as like community supported software fee. It's clearly put on the transaction that the customer has on the Food4All platform. And then I also kind of reiterate it on my website when they're clicking a link to go into that site. And that's pretty much the way that I have introduced it to my customers. And I have had 0 complaints. No one even mentions it. It's not even a blip on anybody's radar. So I wouldn't be concerned about customers feeling like, oh, I'm having to pay a couple dollars for this transaction. So anyway, the way that in the last 2 years that I've utilized it is that I primarily sell at one farmer's market. So that's one pickup location. And then I, on a Saturday, and then Sunday through Friday, people can choose to pick up at the farm. So for the Saturday so the Saturday farmer's market pickup, I have a cutoff time of like Thursday at 8 p.m. You can customize it for whatever time, whatever day that you want it to be. You can also put in like, oh, it's going to be a holiday, we're not going to be at the market. So it kind of takes you, it's the planning up front, but it takes off the idea of like, oh no, like I'm not really going to be able to, the market's not happening during that holiday weekend. And then for the pickup at my farm, I chose that I just needed a 24-hour window, before their order is placed. And so that kind of has worked out really well for me. And I do use the POS system as the way that we collect money at the farmer's market. For all credit card sales. I don't personally put cash sales through that or record EBT sales through that. The other thing that I really like about Food4All is the different kind of back-end sales reports. I use QuickBooks, and basically it gives me the information that I need to do to manually put in to my QuickBooks. So you can see your, sales, credit card sales for any particular day. You can see the order. You also do get like a a pick list basically to, you know, pull the order for the customer, but all of the kind of information that I need to keep my QuickBooks up to date, I'm able to like run those reports, and they're pretty straightforward. Like you can see where credit card fees are taken out. I feel like there's something else I was gonna say that I'm forgetting now. Oh, the other thing that we do is we do some value added products. So we sell pico de gallo, ceviche, hot sauce. And the thing that I also really enjoy about Food4All is that when you're adding a product, you get to choose like if it's like a vegetable, like a crop, or if it is like a food item. And when you pick a food item, you have all of these options to be able to put in the ingredients list, to, if you wanted to do nutritional stuff, if you want to choose like different sizes, because for our pico de gallo, we sell it by the half pint, the pint, and the quart. So that, you know, for us, it fit all of our needs from the types of things that we sell at our farm. We don't have a CSA at the farm, but that's also an option on Food4All. And we don't offer delivery at this time, but that's an option. And I just kind of really liked with Food4All how there's all these, you know, boxes that you can click on off for orders. If you're placing an order on our Food4All page, you can only do an order and pay by credit card. We don't take an order without payment. But if we were nicer, which we're not, we could choose that, you know, to take a check or cash or something, you know, beforehand. So I think it really has flexibility in it for if we were to change how we were going to do certain things. And it's just really great where I feel like I can just always like send our customers like to one spot. And we've had many customers comment to us that they just liked how very straightforward the Food4All platform was, that it was pretty easy to use. And we have a diverse age range of customers that use it.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. And she mentioned the CSA option. You know, you can upload any kind of good, and so that includes a CSA share. A lot of folks will sell CSA shares, and you can bill them monthly. You can bill up front. The other option that we added recently is like a subscription product. So say somebody wants salad greens every week, they can you know, sign up for a salad green subscription, and their card will automatically be charged each week, and they'll get that order, you know, receipt every week to pick up their greens. And yeah, you know, for me, I just see that farms are always changing. Nothing is like stagnant with the farm. And so your business model is always changing. Your customers are always changing, especially when you're small, you know, and you're kind of trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. And so I think it's really important to have that ability to, you know, sell direct to consumer, take in-person transactions, and maybe you have a wholesale page because you have a restaurant customer, or, you know, maybe that year you don't, but just to have those options where you can use one system to really sell through multiple market channels. And the other thing I was going to say, yeah, we're really trying to make the reporting straightforward and easy. So you can pull pick reports, fulfillment reports, delivery reports. Someone was asking about like labeling CSA boxes or pickup boxes, and you can print out customer order sheets each week that just print out on a single page, and then you can, you know, put them in the boxes and check them off, or however you need to do that. And, you know, we're always listening. You know, we have a development list, and if we hear things that need to be kind of bumped up in the priority list, we're definitely open to that. And we're working on a lot of new things this year, and really just hoping to partner with farms and other local food organizations to, you know, just elevate the visibility of a lot of small farmers in these areas. And while we're a national platform, and we do provide, a tool, a service at the end of the day, we really do go into each region and try and see how we can partner with local organizations that are trying to, have the same mission. And so that's just really important to us. And I think our pricing model reflects that, so it's a system that I think is definitely not as pretty as GrownBy. Oh man, I really liked their interface, was beautiful, and as far as the functionality, it's definitely there in my opinion. It's kind of no frills, like Andrea said. There's not, we try to make it as much as you need, but nothing you don't. And so I think that's all we have, and I don't think I missed anything, but I'll put my email in the chat, and if anybody has questions, they can always email us or reach out and create an account if that's something you guys are interested in. Yeah, so I don't have anything else, Jennifer. I know we're kind of early, but.
No, that's okay. I had a question about, I just wanted some clarification about how the POS system works with the platform, because I'm just wondering, like, what does that actually look like when you said you didn't have a mobile app? So how does, like, are you, Andrea, going with your own Square, but then somehow connecting it to the orders?
No, it's you're opening it on the browser on your phone. And when you log in, so you're basically like, I'm using Chrome and I'm going to the website, and then it brings you to log in, and you choose, like, if you've logged into your account, and you choose if it's either going to be the POS or, Pami, what's the other one that it says? I'm blanking. Anyway, you have two choices when you're logging in. So you hit the POS one, and then the format is different, and it's basically like you're just on a web page and not an app, but it looks like an app on your phone, if that clarifies it for you.
Great, no, that's helpful.
Oh, I will say the other thing is, like, so on the back end, if you're not on your POS, on the POS side of it, you see all of your listings. And like I said, I probably have more than other people because of the whole plant situation. So it's like, I see everything that I put in since, that I haven't deleted, right? And so as the season progresses, it changes, what it is. So that first year, I had to put in a ton of, products and listings and details. Well, now, theoretically, I'm still growing those same items. And so I can just activate them. And then I can also choose which ones show up on the POS system. So at one point when I was first getting started, I was having a hard time, like, let's say I had, like, currently at one time, like 90 different things available because of all the different seedlings. But going to market, I was actually maybe only taking like 30 items. So I think it was Cami had told me, like, well, only have the active items on your POS system. And that way you're not having to scroll through all those, items to find it for the customer when I'm checking out. So then it's just a simple, like, how you have the item that you put in, and you just choose, that it's 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever. And then the nice thing too is at the bottom of the POS, so it has all the items that you have put in, but say you show up with something and you forgot to put it in your POS system, or a customer has a, special order, or you kind of make a deal with somebody, there is kind of a general space where you can just fill in whatever the description you wanted to say and the amount. So that's been nice when on the occasion I have forgotten to list something on the POS system that I'm selling.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. Yeah, like I said, it's not integrating with Square or anything like that. It's within the Food4All app on the browser, and so it's just a way to input in-person transactions. So for people that aren't ordering from your website.
Okay. Are there other questions that folks have? And thank you for putting your information in the chat for support and how to access the account. But do folks have other questions for our panelists or our farmer speakers? Well, I'll ask a question. I'm wondering for both of you, how are you reaching farmers to get them excited about your platform? I know you mentioned a little bit, there's like obviously partnerships and things like that, and doing work locally, but as both national kind of companies, how are you doing outreach and connecting with producers?
I could jump in first. I don't know. It's not easy. We have a small team that does a lot of just direct outreach to farmers, but we know that, you know, people get the avalanche of emails every day, and it's not the easiest thing to just reach out directly to people cold. So we do some like organized community events that are right now all virtual, where you know, a farmer that's currently using GrownBy will just reach out to other farmers. We'll do like a demonstration. We're starting now conferences, now that there are some conferences that are not virtual. Like we'll be at the Moses conference. So trying to get out to places where we know farmers are at and trying to learn about these things. But yeah, I think a lot of it's about trying to build the functionality that we know farmers like this kind of farm needs. So that's the big reason why we're trying to push ahead on that EBT SNAP online front, because there's just like not another way to do that. And so it's really about, like, I think having the features that, you know, something like Squarespace doesn't have, or something like Square doesn't have, because these like direct farm marketing models are just different from other kinds of retail. So I think there's a big deal about just building something that we know that our kind of customer needs, that isn't satisfied by these like big mainstream e-commerce companies.
Yeah, I mean, same with Michael. We, you know, we're excited to get back into trade shows and stuff like that, and conferences, and, you know, meet people face to face, and, you know, hopefully our users that are already using it become our advocates. And, you know, we've been very relationship based for a long time, and, you know, starting to finally put some advertising money out there. But I think we just want to get in front of farmers in a way that, you know, like, oh, you need a new tool, a new broad fork, or this fertilizer, or whatever. It's, you know, where farmers are finding their other resources, you know, is where we kind of want to be. And yeah, so it's tricky, and, you know, it's tricky as a national company, but there's a lot of good solutions out there. And I think we're just trying to clear out the weeds a little bit.
Actually, one reason why I'm glad I'm here with Food4All and not some of the other companies is that I really appreciate the kind of transaction fee model of Food4All and GrownBy, in that it really makes it a viable solution for like, I think a lot of the growth is in the kind of farmers that are not already like direct marketing diversified farms. Like a lot of the producers that are selling hay or selling, you know, meat into conventional industry, you know, or at auction houses or something, and who could be making some extra income, some side income on doing, you know, just a few like half pig sales, or selling some hay directly to people who are like raising backyard goats, or you know, those kinds of or like the seedling sales, like if you're a big conventional you know, wholesale produce farm, but you could do a seedling sale once a year. I think those are all really viable, like you know, we're in a risk management workshop here. Like those are really great ways of mitigating the risks of being in some of these more conventional like wholesale scale industries, is diversifying your income from a different sales channel. And the platforms like ours that are just like, you get on for free, you start a shop, and all of a sudden you've got this like nice way to sell e-commerce like directly to consumers, and you don't have to start a whole new business for it. You could just do it for 1 month out of the year for one particular product. And I think that's a lot of the growth potential, because there's only so many small direct marketing farms out there, but there's a lot more bigger conventional farms that can, sell $10,000 a year of, one little thing over 1 month. And I think that's what a lot of these farm specific platforms need to pick up, is those kinds of farms.
I just wanted to put in my 2 cents as a farmer, that I think that sometimes the other than the threshold of like, oh, the cost to get on some of those platforms, because I know for me, like looking at some of these other platforms, that it was a couple $100 of like a setup fee was like, I'm not, that's too big of a chunk to take. But it wasn't just that, it was also like the idea of like, oh, I need to take credit cards. Like, I think a lot of farmers are hesitant to take credit cards because, oh, that credit card fee, like they're going to take that, 2%, 5%, whatever it works out to be, it's going to be too much. And I know I was kind of hesitant about that too. So I think as like, it's kind of a risk management strategy in a way where you're thinking that it's too risky to do that because of the additional fee. But one, we get way bigger set, individual transactions are way larger, both with the online and the like as soon as people know that they can use a credit card at the farmer's market to buy seedlings, they're not just buying $20 worth of seedlings, they're buying $80 where, it's like such a huge jump. And for me, one way to like kind of that risk, deal with risk was I just increased my prices. I just made the assumption that everybody would use a credit card, right? So if you go into it that way, then you go like, okay, so if the credit card fees, going to end up being like a total of 3 or 5%, let me just increase all my prices like that. And then it's just a non-issue. And I've talked to some other farmers that have kind of a similar way. And so that's the conversation that I have with a lot of my fellow farmers, that the reason that they don't do an online sales platform is because they are hesitant to take credit cards. So it's almost like the credit card conversation needs to come first.
Mm-hmm. I had that same conversation with my husband many years ago about our farm. I was like, no, we don't want to lose that 3%. But then once you bite the bullet and you do it, all of a sudden your sales go up exponentially, because who carries cash and checks anymore? So yeah, it is a cost of doing business, and hopefully you're pricing things to increase that overall. That's a great point. Wonderful. Are there other questions folks that are on the call have that they'd like to get answered by our panelists? And thanks, Michael, for pointing that out. I feel like that is a nice feature that both of you have, that you can get started at pretty low cost and can customize everything that you'd like to put up and have a built-in storefront. I mean, that's also a great addition. And it sounds like you both have amazing customer support to the farmers to help them get started and walk through everything on the back end. And so kind of take the scary risk and the not knowing how to navigate these platforms, but there's a lot of customer support to help walk you through that and get you started pretty quickly. So that's great. Awesome. Well, while we're all still here, I'm going to launch the second poll. So if those folks that are online, if you don't mind responding now that you've hopefully learned some things, there's a couple questions here that we have and for you, but you're also welcome to continue to ask questions of the panelists as well. I guess, Andrea, to your experience, and Michael too, and to the extent, Pami, that you're selling on these platforms, I mean, have you noticed a significant increase in sales, or because these are national platforms and people may be finding your farm outside of your local geography, how much is that happening versus you just already having had a customer base and accessing this new kind of way of selling online? Are you getting the benefit from being part of this platform? Yes, is the question too.
So I mean, I definitely already had a customer base, and I'm like, here is my shop. Go to my shop. It's on Food4All. And so I don't think that I've gotten people that have searched on Food4All for me, but now there's like starting, other farms around me, because I talk about it a lot, are starting to try to play around with if they were going to use Food4All. So now it's like, if you put in our zip code, there's like more things that populate. But yeah, I think it's just the fact that you have a shop that people can go to and it's linked, on your social media and on your website, you get more traffic. Because I've definitely gotten customers that, like, I guess I'm not exactly sure how they found me, because when they showed up to pick up their stuff at the farmer's market, I'd never seen them before. And I'm always the one at the market. So
that's great.
For me, I've never had a farm business before I was using GrownBy. So I only started selling beef, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so. So it's all just building customer base for me. One thing that I think I am looking forward to, because last year I wasn't in farmers markets or anything. This year I'm planning to do like 3 or 4 markets. And I really like the idea of, using markets as this, as not just a sales channel, but also this like marketing branding opportunity where, if you're selling online, especially through the kind of model like mine, where it's home delivery, your farmers markets then have this dual purpose of like, yeah, I want to sell steaks at the farmers market, but I also have the opportunity to if you find one customer that wants to subscribe to, a year-long subscription of beef, or they want to buy it for their, a gift for somebody, like that's worth all your time at the market that day, is just finding that one customer that's going to make online purchases. So I think that's a helpful thing to have too, is just to always think about your business as this multi-channel sales opportunity, not just as I'm standing here selling the products that I have in the coolers behind me.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah, and I think until, like we have like a capacity, like a threshold of farmers in a region to be like more of a marketing, customer facing, company, it really is kind of, we're encouraging those farmers to just keep going with their regular customer relationships, and to again, here, like Andrea is saying, here's my store, oh, you bought from me this way before, but now I prefer you to submit your orders this way. And like I said, just kind of getting that link in front of as many folks as possible through social media or your website or email marketing or whatever. But hopefully once we get more farmers using it in certain areas, then we can really push Food4All or, some of these other things as a, this is where customers go to find local food, right? And so, but until you get to that point, you don't want to send people to a place where they can't find anything. So
Yeah. Great. Well, do you have questions of each other? I'm wondering, our panelists, sometimes that's also a nice conversation if folks are like, oh, I'm curious about your features or how you guys solve this problem. It sounds like Food4All has also figured out the SNAP EBT processing, so I'm not sure if there's any information you guys want to follow up with each other offline or later on.
yeah, we don't have the ability to process an online SNAP transaction. We just have the ability to mark an order to be paid by SNAP at pickup, just to clarify there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
But we hope to add the online component soon. It's a beast.
Great.
And I would like last year I went through the process to be able to accept EBT and food stamps, and MarketLink is the organization that has funding from the USDA to do it. And they made it very easy. They hold your hand the whole way. And so we're kind of looking to see if we have enough demand from customers for that to make it be an option that we would click that box to let people do that. But at this point, we don't do a lot of sales with EBT.
Yeah, it can be tricky. I think that is we just at our farm are switching from a different point of sale system to a very expensive one that is more designed for retail so that we can accept SNAP and EBT at the point of sale at our farm stand. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky, but thanks for dropping that link in the chat too. I appreciate that. Great. Well, if folks have other questions, feel free to ask them now, or we can also just end the session at this point, and hopefully folks came and got their questions answered. And I really appreciate all of you as presenters. Thank you, Michael, Pami, and Andrea, for sharing all your great information and experience, and for doing the hard work of building out these platforms and, you know, trying to make them as farmer friendly and customer friendly as possible, and being a solution to help folks get more of their product connected directly to local consumers. So thank you all for for being innovators in this space. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Wow. Awesome.
Thank you,
Well, thank you,
everybody.
everybody. And I will follow up with the workshop evaluation. So please do fill that out when you receive it. Again, it won't take that long, and really appreciate it, and hope that you join us for the next couple of weeks. We'll have other platforms on sharing their solutions as well. And, you know, we're just trying to present a lot of opportunities for folks to learn and to make your own decisions about what works best for you. So thank you. Cool. All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Great.